Right then, nice to see you again. I'm Bill Voice, this is UKGK TV, and this is my good friend
Dave Nicholson. How you doing, guys?
How are you doing? All right? Had a good week?
Not bad, mate. Not bad.
Busy?
Not bad. Busy.
Always
Getting
busy?
always
Yeah.
busy getting ready.
Yeah.
We've had some nice stuff arrive off different sculptures. I've had some great news off the guys. It's good news. There's new stuff coming. Seems to be a lot.
There's a lot of new stuff.
We got a couple to show you shortly. We're heading very quickly now to the show. So Darren's putting all the stops out.
Yep.
Steve's sent us a nice sculpture which we've managed to get. We're going to show you in the shortly. Mm-hmm. Andy Copeland he's not quiet. Don't worry, he's working behind the scenes. Joe Bailey is, so everybody's working to make it a nice show, guys. I'm going to show you an exclusive again today, which you've picked up on, and you like this character. It's a bit off. It's a bit off the key. So we've been busy, mate. Very busy.
Yeah, I mean, even I've been in a workshop doing a bit of undercoating with Rachel, and I have to say, if you ever buy a painted up figure rather than a plain one, and somebody's painted it for you, the amount of work that goes into that is extraordinary. Just putting the undercoat on small figures this week, I've been just pitching in a bit, and I thought to myself, I'll go down to the workshop and I'll see if there's anything. Have a go, see if there's anything to do. And I say I'm no painter. I'm a reasonable painter, really.
Job, mate.
But I did a good job, didn't I? I told the lines straight, didn't I?
You did. You got between the lines.
I got between the lines, yeah. So that was quite an experience for me.
I bet you're fed up of a man in a suit, though, aren't you?
Yeah, it was a little off the daily figures. I never want to see Minder again because I feel like I know the bloke.
Yeah.
The show. I suppose one of the questions is what is the show for? And you know, there is an opportunity to go there and buy things. There is an opportunity for people to sell stuff, which is what the hobby's about, people buying and selling kits and stuff. But I think it's a bit more than that, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, if people went to the show just simply to cash in, then I don't think that to an extent is what the community is about, is it?
No, I mean, for years we over in the UK, we kind of moaned and we were envious of the American shows, and I kept getting people saying, well, why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? So we put the show on. It's about 14 years since the show's been going. What people don't understand about UKGK show is the hobby itself in the UK is a very specialist. It's very narrow. It's not like your trains, your planes, your automobiles, etc., your fantasy stuff. It's not like gaming stuff or your 3D stuff. It's a very particular type of hobby, so it's narrow.
And I think I noticed that about UKGK rather than when you go to Horror Fest and all the rest of it, popcorn and stuff. Yeah. You see a very generalised kind of load of stuff on display. Yeah. You see T-shirt vendors, you see memorabilia vendors, autographs and stuff like that, and kits, and to an extent figures and masks and things, tons and tons and tons of stuff, which is great, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love going to these places, but I think with UKGK it's specifically about our kind of material, isn't it? It's our type of figures and busts and kits with paints and brushes and bases and the things stuff like that
complement it.
The thing that complements it, but it doesn't. It's quite in the best sense. It's a very narrow lot of display, isn't it? Because it's about these kind of kits.
Yeah.
You know, they might see the odd stuff, bits and bobs there, like maybe T-shirts. And stuff.
There'll be T-shirts.
There'll be T-shirts, but you won't see like full size
pop vinyls
dummies. You won't see pop figures. You won't see that. You won't see poster vendors and things like that, and autographs. What you'll see is the stuff that's on the case behind us. And I think, for me, the first time I went, it was an amazing experience because I got to meet all the people I only knew as names.
It's the characters, isn't it?
It's the characters. It's fellow painters. It's fellow collectors.
Or lunatics, basically.
Lunatics, exactly. And the people there are always willing to talk.
Definitely.
So it's as much a social event as because last year we were there. We met Bryn, didn't we, from Horror Hands?
Yeah, Bryn and Steve.
And it was Bryn and Steve, and you know, I would never have met Bryn and Steve unless
I'd have
gone to UKGK. Yeah. You know, and I often dip into the Horror Hands channel on YouTube, and it's a fascinating channel. And otherwise, I would have no clue about these things.
What you've got to take into account is a lot of us do these paintings, and we painting these figures and stuff, and we paint it at home, so we're on our own. I mean, basically,
solitary.
yeah, it is, and you're basically sitting there listening to me and Bill talk rubbish. But when the event comes on, I try to encourage people to interact, because we're all human beings, and by nature, you should really interact with people.
Yeah.
I think when you meet these guys, they're really nice people. You know, the people that you're talking to, you're really nice people. And we tend to go out on the Friday and have a meal, so I will be putting that up on the next video. Or we go out on a Saturday for a curry, cheap and cheerful curry, but that's Saturday, and then Friday we go out for somewhere else. And I think it's that sort of togetherness that you've got to bond, really. You've got to kind of bond it, because most of us are just, in the winter months, we're going to be sat there in the cold, and not even going to talk to the missus, are you?
No. And in fact, usually, if you're like me, the missus doesn't talk to me when I'm doing my hobbies, because she disapproves of most of them. So, so what I'm basically saying is, I spend all my life doing other stuff.
Yeah, looking for Mrs.
I know.
You spend all your life looking for Mrs. Right, and you don't realise the first name is always.
He's always
right.
Encyclopedia Britannica, mate.
Yeah,
so you know the joke.
They're great driving instructors as well, aren't they?
They are. So, but we love them.
That's a divorce. That's a divorce in the.
That's a divorce in the. It's one of many, mate. One of many. I'm well into that now. But and the other thing is, I mean, I feel very strongly about this. We all know that the hobby is at a turning point between printing and traditional, and hopefully it will resolve itself.
Yeah.
But a lot of people only ever get access to cheap prints because they go online, they live online, they work online, they do their hobby online, and they get access to cheap prints, and they do the hobby. What you'll see at this place is, you won't see cheap prints. What you'll see is the real deal. You'll see vendors with all that stuff, and you come along and you might spend up all your cash. But the beauty is this: if you've seen something at the show and you didn't buy it at the show, you know it exists, and you can get in touch with the vendor at a later date and say, "Look, I didn't have money when I was at the show to get this.
Yeah.
I'd like one of these, and I want it to be yours." I mean,
it's a knock-on sales.
It's a knock-on. It's a deferred sales kind of thing. So that's one of the reasons a lot of the guys come to the show, not to make a killing, but to basically put their work out there, let it be seen, and people later on, props going to return to you.
Do you not think it's nice to meet the people that are giving you money?
Well, yeah, because the weird thing when I was at the last one, what was it? Not HorrorCon, it was
the one in Sheffield. Yeah.
The people were happily giving you the money.
Yeah.
They were wanting to give you the money because what you were giving them was something really significant. Not only is it what most of the vendors sell ridiculously cheap for what it is, I think people get a good deal, but the people knew they were getting a good deal, and the fact that we could have sold
multiple amounts
of what we did
was,
these people are giving you their hard earned, and let's face it, there's not a lot of it about. They're giving you the hard earned, but because you're there, because you're speaking to them, because they can see the person who's produced it, they love it because it gives them that personal touch. And I suppose as a group of people on the store, we were kind of really happy to chat and talk to the people, and I know for certain that people have come back since and said, saw you at whatever, and have you got one of these? We talked about it, and you usually remember people. And then when you've been to UKGK 2 or 3 times, you start to see the same people over and over again. And I suppose that's the bit that I'm looking forward to is walking around, talking to everybody again.
That you met last time.
That I met last time. Obviously catching up with people like Jason, who's great, and all Bryn. Those people, Bryn, and hopefully catching up with
John and Pam and Pete Spaces.
Yeah, and the displays. Paul Willits, he's going to be there, and all the people who bring their stuff to show at the club tables. And the club tables are fantastic because you get some brilliant ideas at club tables.
Yeah, we got a new guy coming two new guys coming this year. One guy from up Leeds area. And then we've got another guy called Andy Finney. Check Andy out. Andy's stuff's great. He's showing the first time. Now these guys are coming there. They're putting the time out. They're displaying what can be available. They're showing you what is available out there. But the beauty, I think, for it is, and it's a lot of headache for me because I have to balance everything and keep everybody happy and make sure everything's okay. But it's nice when it's all happening, because when you can hear the people talking and they're all buying stuff and talking to people and you're having a bit of banter, it's nice. And then there's a bar there. It's a nice venue. It's worth it, guys. There's a lot of people coming from a great deal of distance. You've got people coming from Northern Ireland. You've got people coming from Scotland, Cornwall. You've got a lot of people coming. If you come, there's only one thing I will basically ask you to do, guys. Fetch plenty of money, because you're going to need it.
Yeah, you probably see something you didn't.
You're going to need it, which fetches us nicely onto the next one.
Which is possibly going to be this.
Now, this dropped on my door in the week, and I was blown away. Look at that.
Oh, le blast from the past.
Do you have a license for that monkey?
Yeah. I am an officer of the law. That's where Judge Dredd got it from.
Yeah, the dog.
I am the law.
The dog. Does your dog bite?
Look at that.
It's not my dog.
None other than the truly great Peter Sellers. Hysterically funny.
I had to have
Simple,
this done.
but
This
funny.
is, as a garage kit producer, you do stuff for sales, and then you do something for yourself.
And this is for yourself.
This is for myself. This one has the Pink Panther leaning over his shoulder. He's got the actual cartoon Pink Panther sort of leaning round him.
This is hand.
Hand sculpted. Steve
sculpted.
Thompson, the man.
You would not believe it when you see it. The detail and
great.
the precision.
Look, have you seen the contour?
Let me just take
the contours
his head off. Look at the contours on that hat. They are all manufactured by hand.
Steve.
Then this is not printed.
Superb, Steve. Well done.
I mean, you can see it's not printed. But
What size would you say this is?
Well, we got into trouble the other week about size, didn't we?
Well, apparently. Is that with the wife? Or with
wife. She won't believe how big I said it was. I don't know. You see, I'd say that was, if you I'd say it's third. Would you say
third or
third?
quarter?
1, 2, 3, quarter scale. I'd say quarter scale, because you get 4 of them over my face. That's how I do it, basically. Look at the head and see how much it covers. So I'd say it's 1 foot, a quarter.
Superb. Inspector Clouseau. This will be available, guys, to pre-order for the show. Beautiful piece. Absolutely. Steve himself has said to me he loves a challenge to get the likeness, but great.
Look at the button.
Great,
the button, like everybody's raincoat, the button is falling slightly forward because the thread behind it has been stretched.
Superb. Absolutely amazing. I mean, Steve's done a great job of this. That's the cast, guys. That's not the sculpture. So that's what you get.
That's what you actually get.
That's what you actually get. So that will be
it's lovely.
About 2
Quality, 2 kilos. Easy.
How tall would you say that is? About 11 inches tall?
11 inches tall. I'd say near a foot. Near enough a foot. Let's call it a foot, because then you've got a bit of clearance on your shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's available, guys, to pre-order. Look forward to seeing it. Just hit us up and we'll get you on. Next one we've got over here now is a new one by Terry Doyle again.
Terry Doyle's Outer Limits series. If you're collecting these, this is your next bit of expenditure.
This will be available at the show, guys. This is the Chameleon.
This is the Chameleon, and we looked it up earlier, didn't we? Because we thought we were going to call it the Reptilian. But it's not the Reptilian, it's the Chameleon. That's why we remembered it. But the Chameleon is a type of lizard that can change its colour for camouflage. And I suppose it's a bit like the shape changes in Star Trek. Proto sort of like Odo from Deep Space Nine. I think that's probably where the basic concept came from.
And Terry's done this. Terry paints these now for us so that we can. It shows up the detail on the camera.
Yeah, the blue is quite nice.
It shows. It basically shows off the detail rather than the normal beige colour. It will be available in the grey resin to go with the other ones. We will be having these at the show.
There's a couple of ways of doing these kind of figures. You can either do a direct copy of the mask from the black and white photo, which is what Terry does, or you can reinterpret them. And super detail them that wouldn't have had on the original figure.
Beefed them up a bit.
Yeah, these are not beefed. These are exactly how you would see them in the show. So when you come to paint this, what you're basically painting is a figure.
A miniature.
It's a miniature. It's a figure of somebody in a mask.
Yeah.
So what Terry's not trying to achieve is like a perfect sort of stylized version. He's giving you exactly what is in the picture.
What he sees in the series.
Yeah. So that, and if you're into the Outer Limits, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Nice base. Goes with the others.
It goes with the others, doesn't it? So it's a nice one, guys. This one's about...
It's about what? 8 inches? 8 inches tall.
9 inches tall.
It's basically, you can have the pantheon of Outer Limits on there. Has he done a Gremlin off the wing?
No, yeah.
That's Twilight Zone, isn't it? Yeah. Ooh, there you go. What is that? 9 inches. 9 inches. He should do a Twilight Zone one then.
Yeah, he's got to do some.
He's got to do some Twilight Zones. We've got loads of Outer Limits. Let's do some Twilight Zones.
So this one's available now, guys. If you need this one, give us a call.
This is the lovely one.
PM us, message us. They will be available for sale at the show. Please.
Are you going to have a range of them? Yeah. So if you want them, they'll be there.
Please, if you're desperate for this, though, reserve it for collection at the show.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what to do. Knowing exactly, you're not going to be disappointed. We can only take so much of, so many of them because of the sheer volume of stuff that we're going to be putting out this year. Right, this isn't. Bill wanted to show this because, right, people talked to us years ago. We used to produce them in this.
Yeah, this is what you would know as what I would call cold cast resin to look like and feel like stone or porcelain.
Yeah, polyester.
Yeah, and it's polyester resin with a material called phyllite, which is a very lightweight sort of expander that you mix with. It fills the space, bulks it out. So this was the original one. This is a cold cast in phyllite and polyester. And this is the new one, isn't it? This is
That's what they could come out now. So we just wanted to show you the difference.
The difference between the two. So if you just back into the hobby and you're expecting things to just look like this again,
they're not. They're going to look like that.
And they're going to look like that. And this is slightly lighter, isn't it? Yeah. I'd say slightly. Even though that's solid resin, it's slightly lighter than this.
But that was what we wanted to show you. The colour, not only the colour, but
it's the texture, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the surface texture. This would be more difficult to paint than the other one.
It would.
Yeah.
Your brushes would take a bit of hammering.
Yeah, your brushes would take a bit of hammering, and your undercoating would be critical, I would imagine. Yeah, critical. Yeah. But just sort of show you that, because people have asked us, what do you mean by this grey resin we talk about? Well, we just wanted you to see the difference between the surfaces that are available. And just before we put Dracula to bed, there's a werewolf wall hanger here. This is a classic, isn't it? This has been around.
Right, this one, we got asked about this after the last video. This is a beauty. This is done by a guy called Joe Ope. We've had the rights to do this for a while now. It's got all the main characters on.
This is one of my favourite Universal horror movies ever. It's The Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr. Mm-hmm. This figure here
is the
Gypsy, played by Bela Lugosi. Mm-hmm. This is Lon Chaney's face without the makeup on himself. So this is, what's his name? Larry Talbot. Larry Talbot. Yeah. Talbot being a greyhound. Did you know that? Talbot is the old name for greyhound?
Oh,
it's just a dog thing there.
Oh,
like Werewolf by Night in the Marvel comics, his name was Jack Russell.
Oh, right.
Yeah, see, that's where he got it from, you see. A bit of trivia there. And this is the Gypsy. I can't remember the actress's name, but she specialised in playing the weird Eastern European gypsy. And she says something like, "Is that Wolfbane thing? If those of you who were pure at heart, that lovely little bit, which looks like a really ancient poem, but actually it was that little poem was actually made up by the studio. It's not a classical piece in any way. But there you go.
So it's a big old wolf head, isn't it?
It's a big old wolf head. That. What would you say? Half size?
There you go, guys.
Compared to me, big head.
That's 9 inches.
9 inches. And this is a wall hanger, isn't it?
That's a wall hanger.
Yeah.
If he turns it round, he'll show you the back.
You can see the cast at the back. It's made lighter. It's got a nice big hole in it, so you can hang it onto a nail.
Screw it on. Superb. That one's available.
The beauty of one of these is it saves you shelf space.
Yeah.
It might irritate your partner that the fact you're covering your walls, instead of beautiful abstract art like I have, you're covering it with Lon Chaney's features, and she walks in and she gets a fright every time when it scares the cleaner away. I don't know, but it is a good thing.
Would you paint it black and white or colour?
Personally, I did a similar one on the original Karloff Mummy, and I did mine in black and white. And, with the Mummy, it is black and white because the film's black and white and his bandages are white. So it makes no difference. So all the grey tones were really, really good. I tried to do it with the Dracula one. It looked awful. And I ended up doing a Lugosi Dracula one, very similar to this, an American one it was. And I ended up doing that in colour in the end. In fact, I sent it away and got someone else to paint it for me. Right. So I think this is asking for coloured paint.
Yeah. Werewolves, grey or brown?
For me, I'd say brown. I think
I like grey one.
You like the grey one? I don't know. You see,
I like
what can we remember? What the Aurora Wolfman box?
Yeah, no,
that was brown.
I think wolves are grey, but
Wolves
there you go.
Howling wolves are grey.
But there you go.
But it's how you ever want it. You see.
Michael, if you're watching, me and you agree because we both agree.
Who's the artist for this?
This is Joe Hope. Joe Hope's currently working.
Is he grey or is he brown?
Yeah, Joe. If you're watching Joe, is he grey or is he brown? But like I say, after seeing this one again, I contacted me and Joe were talking.
Look, I've just noticed this little bit of detail here. You've got the wolf's head there with the pentagram. Now that is on the cane, the silver cane that he carries.
I wanted one of them canes.
Yeah, I've seen them. About 300 odd quid.
Are they where?
I've seen them on Etsy.
Oh,
yeah. So wolf head cane, and underneath here you've got the dying wolfman in the gypsy's arms.
Yeah, you got it there.
Now, asking myself, is that the original Wolfman? Now here's some. Now, remember, Lon Chaney Jr. gets bitten by an existing Wolfman, so the original Wolfman in the movie has to be Bela Lugosi, because he is the person who turns out to be the person who turned into wolf that bites Larry in the first place. That's why she's very cagey about giving anything away, because she doesn't want her son, Zorbo or whatever his name is, to be killed. So there you go. So beautiful piece there.
Did you like the remake of it?
The remake of it, I found the actor who was playing the Wolfman unconvincing, but I liked the effects because it was a combo, wasn't it, of real time and CGI, but primarily real time, which I liked. And I found the art direction good, but I just felt the story didn't come together very well. It felt like a foreign film that had been translated into English, and in the process of the translation, the meaning was lost, and I felt it tried to overcomplicate the story.
I did like the kung fu fighting at the end in front of the fire. That way they were jumping
at each other, but that was trying to imitate like House of Dracula or something like that.
I didn't like it.
The thing is, you see, Wolfman
I like
stories.
the film, but I didn't like that bit.
Wolfman stories. Innocent guy gets bitten by a wolf, turns into a wolf, hates himself for it, falls in love with a beautiful girl, nearly kills a beautiful girl, stops himself doing it, gets killed in the process. Story over.
Game over.
That's the only story that you can do. Nothing else. Curse of the Werewolf, Oliver Reed.
Same
thing. Brilliant werewolf. Brilliant werewolf. American Werewolf in London.
Same thing. It kind of goes off a bit, doesn't it?
Fish and chips is cod in batter or haddock in batter with fried potatoes. That's fish and chips. Nothing wrong with fish and chips. Fish and chips is lovely. Wolfman movies. Just a warning to any would-be directors and writers out there. Keep it simple because it has more impact.
Definitely.
I don't know. Am I being...
No. You're right on the money. You've obviously thought about
Keep
this.
it simple. Of course I've thought about it. From when I was 12 till the present day, mate. So, no, even more than that. Since I was 9 when I first saw Lon Chaney. Because the beauty of Lon Chaney is he's so sympathetic. He's got a very kind face.
Yeah.
You feel for him. And the actor himself, bit of a drunk.
Yeah.
But dealt with it.
Bit of a playboy, isn't he?
Bit of a playboy. But he was a great guy. People who met him said, Lon Chaney Jr., he might be a bit drunk, but he's a great guy. And his dad, of course, is Lon Chaney Sr. Try having a dad that famous, that talented. You're always going to feel in the shadow of it, aren't you?
Nobody at all, are they?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, we've got a bit Freudian. We're divested. Right. So we've done that. The next thing I want to look at is Godzilla.
Yes.
And this is Darren Kent.
This is the newish Godzilla, sculpted by Darren Kent, which is now available for ourselves.
See the detail.
This particular one was painted by a young lad in his teens that comes to the workshop called Tom. And this one is now available. It comes with all the spikes, the jaws, etc.
Yeah,
if Zilla's your thing, hit us up.
This is particularly good if Zilla's your thing and you haven't got a lot of room.
Yeah.
I mean, if you own Tokyo, of course, you can have a full size one. But if you don't want it crunching all over your shelf and smashing up your model kits, This is about the right size, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a nice one, isn't it? Which Godzilla would you say it was? Would you say it was the very latest, isn't it? It's one of the latest. New Godzilla or old Godzilla? Which one's your favourite? New Godzilla?
More realistic.
It's got...
You?
For me...
I like to be more realistic.
I kind of like the cross-eyed rubber suit with the Japanese geezer
The Chew-It monster.
The Chew-It, do you remember it?
Anybody else that can remember the Chew-It
monster? Yeah, or something like Gorgo or something like that. You know, one of these old English type of ones. But Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
That's the one.
And Gorgo, I think they preceded Godzilla. I think Beast from 20,000 Fathoms inspired Toho Studios to make Godzilla. Mm-hmm. So Harryhausen.
That one's now available, guys. So if you want to hit us up,
little kit,
feel free to do so.
Half a kilo.
Yeah, and it is about. Look, do you like me new?
Look at the ruler. Look at this ruler, Look at that.
7 inches, 8 inches.
That's not your ruler.
That's Stephen's.
Stephen's ruler.
Anyway.
So Dave's gone off to deal with some customers and pack up some stuff and give it away. He's left me on my own to have a look at the next section. The next section is... we do occasionally do a sort of a special where we look at one particular thing. I was very happy to do a Universal Monsters one, and later on we did a Hammer Monsters one. A lot of... Dave and I are around the same age, and we got into horror movies during the late 70s, early 80s, and we just love that kind of genre. I suppose it's kind of called hack and slash, or that sort of gut horror thing. But they've given us lots of characters, and I'm talking about movies like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, to an extent Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street. All of those movies that have provided us with iconic horror characters. As you can see behind me, there's this massive shelf, and in that shelf is practically everything that Creature Features has ever produced, and that is an archive, a treasure chest. So I've just picked a few things off the shelf, and there's one at the very end which I'm quite interested in showing you, simply on a film historian, because I'm a bit of a film buff. I know it's a bit pretentious, but at the end of the day, I love my movies. And there you go. This is one of the kits that's available, but this is one of Rachel's paint-ups, and there's several on the shelf behind there that she's done for various things, and this goes like hotcakes at shows. And I just wanted you to have a look at this. This is Michael Myers. Now, what does Michael Myers look like? Well, Michael Myers actually is William Shatner's face. I mean, people don't realise this, but when Carpenter was looking for a mask for the villain to wear, he went into the studio stores, he found a rubber mask made of William Shatner's face, and he thought, yeah, that's good. So when Michael Myers in the first movie is walking towards you, and there's a sort of familiarity about him, it's in fact the actor that played Captain Kirk. The actor looks behind the mask, you never kind of find out. But when I first saw this movie, what I thought was this. Not only is this a fantastic horror film, but it's also a brilliantly directed movie in its own right. It's truly kind of scary, kind of visceral, but at the same time you can kind of lose yourself in it and the characters. It's not a foregone conclusion, and it's got a couple of jump scares in there which really make you jump. And the scene for me that makes me really remember the movie is when Jamie Lee Curtis, and who could forget Jamie Lee Curtis? I mean, I was a teenage boy, for God's sake. Who could forget Jamie Lee Curtis? She's hiding in a louvred cupboard, and you can see the figure outside. And I think, if I remember right, she stabs him in the eye with an unwound coat hanger, which I felt was brilliantly sort of, just what he deserved, really. But that scene has stuck in with me. And you know what? I whenever I move into a house and it's got louvred cupboards, I can't live with the louvres. I actually take the louvres out, put panels in. So that's a movie having a massive effect on life. But look at the beautiful paintwork on that. I mean, obviously there's a couple available. I'm sure if you want one, it's all yours. And if it's your favourite movie, you've probably already got one. But I just like that, and the fact it's Halloween. And of course, if you're like me, a bit gothic, you kind of prefer Halloween to Christmas. So that's Halloween. Obviously, I can't talk about these kind of movies, and they're franchises now, and the word franchise belittles them. And my favourite Nightmare on Elm Street film is Nightmare on Elm Street 1, for want of a better word, not that it does have a 1. This is Paul Feig's Freddy Krueger. Beautiful backhand front. You know, it's not in any way disappointing. It's just a fantastic thing. This movie was great. I was at art college at the time, and I was dealing with some concepts about art like surrealism, which is all based about people's automatic reactions and dreams and stuff like that. And this movie is about the power of dreams and how dreams can have an effect on you. And I'm sure that most people have occasionally woken from a nightmare feeling a little bit breathless, a little bit like the physical action in the nightmare is kind of carried on into real life. And if you can kind of recreate that on screen, which I think it was Wes Craven did, beautiful. I think one of the things that, you know, a lot of these directors have in common, a lot of these people were kind of traumatized in the Vietnam War and their idea of horror, and they're willing to confront the blood and guts, so to speak. I think that's because they saw so much horror in kind of Vietnam and Korea and places like that they didn't shy away from it. So I think it's that post-war war generation that saw the blood and guts, that brought blood and guts into the cinema, for want of a better word. It no longer had to be subtle. It was quite obvious. So I'm just a reminder that Freddy's there if you want him. The next one, Stephen King's It. We all read Stephen King. King has been around 70s, 80s until this present day. It is one of these things that confronts people's phobias. People have a phobia for clowns. I've always hated clowns. I've never found them funny. I always find them quite sinister. The fact that they're wearing a mask, it's something about subterfuge and lying. Also, it's their melancholy nature that most clowns have, that they go and do something dead funny and they don't laugh, but you do. The fact that they're not laughing kind of worries me, but that's clowns, that's one of mine. I wouldn't say I avoid clowns, and I wouldn't say it's a real phobia for me. It's just not one of my preferences. So there's two ways this character works on me. First of all, Stephen King's made him a complex character. So I've got the predisposition for not liking clowns, and I've got something like him who's totally evil. And lovely paint up once again by Rachel. Nice base on it like that. You can see there you got the cellars and the drains and stuff on the bottom there. Lovely little piece of work. And you know, if you want one, there is one. But I just wanted to remind you, this movie, the original version of a TV movie, split into parts, bit of a slow boiler. The new one's a little bit more obvious, a little bit more vicious. But there you go. So don't forget, Stephen King's It, kind of around the same time. Once again, we're talking about a sort of story arc where people float in and out of dreams and illusions. So this kind of is in the same kind of vein, perhaps, as Nightmare on Elm Street. If you don't agree with me, please comment. So put them to one side. Now, got two more. This is a paint-up by Rachel of a bust of Grandad from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the reason I picked this on off the shelf was just simply because Rachel's painted it beautifully. That's absolutely fantastic. And the detail there is incredible. This is almost like looking at a waxworks. Rachel has a fantastic way of doing eyes, and those grey, watery eyes, well, they kind of bring the character out very nicely. I love this kit. I love this little sculpture because it is so... It kind of, I don't want to say that old wrinkly people are evil, because most of them are not, but this has got that kind of wanton, kind of almost vampiric expression, a bit like Nosferatu in a sense, and I think there's a little bit of Nosferatu in there. I like that. Paul's great at capturing emotional sort of like resonance on faces, and I think this is one of those things that Paul's done really, really well. I love Paul's work. It's fantastic. Obviously, we've got your base, your piece of wood, and your mallet. So with the hooks and stuff, that's lovely. Put them to one side, and towards the end now, the latest of the franchises, and the reason this is a franchise that I'm not particularly fond of, because it's self-referential, and it's reverential, but it's self-referential in the sense that it refers to its own plots in its own movies, but it also steals plots quite openly and consciously from other movies. And I think I'm starting to sound like Mark Kermode here, and that's not my intention, because for me, a horror film is just a visceral thing. I just love to have it, to feel the fear and the excitement. But what I'm talking about is this. Yeah, you know it. I'm not even going to mention it because I'm not sure about this character. I don't know. It never appealed to me. And I just feel it's too aware of its own self to be scary. You see that? It's clever, don't get me wrong. The whole of Scream is clever. It's so clever. It's unbelievably clever. But because it's being so clever, kind of, for me, the thing suffers. Now, I'll probably put out there like a sort of a metaphorical hand grenade. You can disagree with me. But what I do love is this little bust here. And that bust is good because people recognise it. And even if you're not a general collector of horror memorabilia, if you're in your late teens or even early teens, you'll have seen this movie or the whole series of movies. So if you wanted one of these, it's easy enough to paint. And obviously, if you want to buy a paint up. Me and Dave are going to go through these movies together at a later date because we feel that they're kind of iconic, and basically a lot of it is Dave's bread and butter when it comes to characters that people buy. So that's it, my little talk about sort of 70s, 80s, early 90s horror movies and how the whole thing comes together. It's a historical content. We go back to Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. We go back to Peeping Tom with Powell and Pressburger. And the final thing I got off the shelf that I wanted to talk to you about, just to show you, and Dave's come back in, it's this over here. It's Jonathan Drewer, and it's the figure from A Clockwork Orange.
Alex Clockwork Orange.
Alex from A Clockwork Orange, and Clockwork Orange is a very controversial film. It wasn't actually banned. People think it was banned, but Kubrick didn't let them show it unless it was left unedited.
Right.
But they wanted to edit it, and the cuts that they were going to make from the film made Kubrick very unhappy, and Kubrick said, we're not going to release it unless you put those scenes back in. 30 years on, they put the scenes back in, and it's released. You can get this in England now. You look at this film, it's hard going to watch. There's some pretty gruesome parts in it. But when you think about what you see now as a 15...
It's nowhere near as bad, is it?
It's nowhere near as bad. No. But at the time, this was so controversial. But it was controversial because it was filmed not like a fantasy. It was filmed like a documentary.
Yeah.
It has that very visceral, like Quadrophenia or Scum or any of those.
That's what it reminds me of.
It reminds me of that kind of movie.
Gangs going around beating people.
Yeah, and it's very, very visceral. And,
but the point I'm trying to make to you is, and I don't know whether this is true or not. Remember The Exorcist, when The Exorcist came out? Yeah. And the story I heard was a couple of things about that film, that they had fake priests outside.
Yeah, with holy water.
Yeah, to stop people, because people were to stir up the controversy.
Yeah, whip up a little bit of, if we can still use it, hysteria, if we can still use that word.
But there was also, they were slicing subliminally images in it.
Yeah,
so
like flies on meat and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they were doing all sorts of scary stuff in it, and then they got in trouble, so they had to cut it out.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that
I think that's what happened. But tricks like that have been around in the movies for years. I mean, there's a film
Coca-Cola
called
one where you're watching it and you what a Coke. Oh.
Coke, yeah, and that was used for a while, but people banned that.
Yeah.
And there's a movie called The Tingler with Vincent Price.
Yeah.
It's a very good black and white horror movie, but they were hiding like buzzers and stuff in people's chairs. So when you sat down and the Tingler appeared, they set the chairs off, and it felt like the Tingler was running up your back. Brilliant. So William Castle, I think it might have been. I don't know, but William Castle, the director, used to use those kind of tricks.
What, like
buzzers in the chairs, props in the chairs, people running out from behind the screen, 3D things, water sprayed on your face, all those kind of stuff.
We went to a ride in Florida, and they did a similar sort of thing in Florida.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't remember which ride it was, but they were squirting stuff at you. You didn't see it. You're like, bloody hell, is that water? And it was coming off the screen.
I think I did Ice Age at Alton Towers. And you're sitting in a theatre and you had the 3D glasses on and stuff, but they were spraying water at you and then snow came down out the ceiling. It was really good.
Any of you making guys that are watching this, Alton Towers is our version of poor man's version of
Disneyland.
Disney.
It's a one-day Disneyland, isn't it?
Well,
it's a one-day.
You're
It depends how big
you're on the car park next to Disney. Well, that's Alton Towers.
Yeah, that's Alton Towers.
But no, it's good. So anyway, guys, I hope this has been interesting for you. Thanks for all the likes and the comments. We do appreciate it. We're getting very, very close now. The other thing we're going to say is if anybody wants their stuff reviewing, feel free to contact us. You can either send it to us and we'll return it, or you can pop it over, or you can come and have a chat with us. We don't bite.
Yeah.
We're happy to promote anybody that comes on board. Just give us a shout, guys. We'd love to see you. And I'm kind of looking forward to it now.
Yes, me too.
Right, you? It'll be good. It'll be good.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be good. So we'll see you soon, guys. Check out, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and stay safe, guys, and look after yourself.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello again, everyone. We're here, Kirk and Stephen
How you
Collmore.
guys doing? Lovely day we're having over here in the U.S. How's your weather, guys, doing?
You can probably see it in the background off the reflection on the display case, but yeah, it's nice. Hope it's nice over there too. We're gonna go over review a couple kits from a friend of ours, Mike Swisstack, and he owns a company, TruthulaGizzard.com, and he does. There's his card. He's a sculptor. He does it all. Sculpting, painting.
Produces.
And I've got a few kits of his that are really nice kits. He offers a little, he sends that's on the packaging, and he's got his business card here. And he's over here in the U.S. and the United States. And then with his kits too, he also is really cool too, the little paper stuff. I know Bill loves this, the instructions, if you will, or stuff. But here he's got painting instructions, the prepping, and how to, basically go through the kit. So the first one we'll bring to you, I'm gonna show you one that I bought a while back. I gotta paint her up pretty soon. This kit you can get in two different ways. It's called rigor mortis, the ghoul. This also came with it. A cool little piece. More paperwork. So this one here is it's a nice little kit. It's quarter scale. It's pins to the base. You can actually buy the base separate too. That's a zombie and a. If you go to his website,
He's got a ton of stuff. He's got at least like 75 pieces that he's done.
And he's on Etsy and also MSN. So those are, it says on the card there. So, and you can contact him. So Etsy and MSN are the two I'm seeing. But also you can go through and type his name in. Mike Swisstack, WSISSTACK, on Facebook. So anyway, I love my zombies. He always he writes, he'll write on the bottom of them here.
He signs them.
Yeah. So in the year.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you don't have to wait around when you start getting dementia or some stupid shit. Remember what's.
There you go. Just look at the bottom.
Yeah.
There you have it. Signature.
Hopefully nobody does. We know how awful that stuff is. But we're all getting older, so no. Now
These are two really cool pieces that he did recently.
Jim, this was the first one he did. It's a
This is
self-portrait.
Dead Mike.
Yeah. Undead self-portrait. So it's been set up to hang on the wall. It's just how it comes. I haven't done nothing to it. It's just nice and clean. And there's a story behind this, very heartfelt story here. He showed his dad this one. He shows him his work, and his dad really liked this. He says, "Well, Mike, why don't you do one of an actual self-portrait of yourself?" And upon Mike doing this, when it was in process, which is this one right here, self-portrait. His dad, unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, at 82, passed away. So Mike finished this one, and then he painted it and put it in with him when he was buried, so in his casket. So again, very heartfelt story, a lot of meaning behind that one. So I had to get this one, not just for that, but the guy's a phenomenal sculptor. He really is. And he does I know he did a lot of them out of Abe's, actually. So he didn't always claim he's a traditional sculptor, but he just used a different type of material with great results. This other one here is from a movie. I'm gonna let Steve review it. It's a relief bust. He does 360 busts, as I showed you with this one here.
He's got plenty of these.
Or you can get relief busts too of the same characters and. Just go check his website out.
Gary Oldman, Mason Verder. Look at that pretty face.
That was
only a face a mother could love.
Well, that was Hannibal, right? The movie Hannibal.
From Hannibal, yeah. But he was the main villain.
Yeah.
Mason. I mean, they did a really good job on the effects, though. And Mike really nailed it. It looks really good.
He has that in 360 also.
Yeah, he's got a bust of it.
And I bought a wall here. I thought it would be fitting, being this is a flat relief back. This is just a creepy tile wall that he offers, and I thought I would use that to put them on. It's pretty thick, and again, it's so that I thought they'd be fitting as I do this.
Crack
character.
somebody over the skull with this, and it wouldn't break.
We're solid.
Durable.
Oh, there'll be no cracking today. So. Again, take some time and check out his work. He does phenomenal work. He's a super guy.
Now, see, I gotta say, this is what happens when you allow somebody else to take charge in the bedroom with a knife. You don't let that happen, because this is what happens.
Well, it could happen, let's say.
That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
Badly disfigured.
Well, we've enlightened you a little bit with some products that are available out there by a phenomenal artist. So take time to check those out, and we will talk to you guys the next time around. Hope you have a fantastic couple weeks. Bye.
See ya.